This program was made possible in part by the continuing contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Time for the starting lineups. We start with Minneapolis North. On the floor, Malik Elamine at guard. He's the nephew of Khalid Elamine. John Hicks at guard. Ricky Collins at guard. Ariel Deloney at forward. And Mark Devine at center. And see, you know a lot about the Minneapolis North folks. And Coach told me his seniors contributed heavily to North's success.
Of course, it's always about the seniors. Seniors know they've been in the program for 4 years, so they know what it takes to be successful. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be the leaders tonight.
Johnson's got some leaders of their own, as you'll see in their starting five. Eston Tyler at guard, Dante Warlick at guard, Xavier Henry at forward, Dimitri Conwell at guard, and Maxie Rosenblum at forward. And Johnson, similar to North, senior heavy team and no superstars. They believe everyone can contribute.
And they're undefeated, right?
What?
Are they undefeated?
They are undefeated, 25-0.
All right, and there's an extra point to that point, 25-0. Senior heavy team. Obviously, it's going to be dominated by who can be consistent tonight.
North not undefeated, 19-6, but these are the only two teams this season to beat Hopkins, so you know you beat Hopkins, you're pretty good.
Of course, it always works out that way.
And North's record, I talked with Broderick before the game, and he said it was a little bit misleading because in a couple of those cases, especially after their loss to Henry, most of the North players caught the flu, and so they weren't all together in that first go-round.
I guess we can use that as an excuse. You know, I'm a North High Polar. If we're sick, we're not any good.
I think that excuse can be applied anywhere you go.
Of course, yes, definitely.
Unless you're of Minnesota. I don't know what happened to them. Unless there's some virus I don't know about.
The gopher virus.
Yeah, you can tell I got out of there in a hurry.
Oh, of course. So it looks like we got everybody coming out. I'm really familiar with a lot of the North High players. We got some familiar faces as a coaching staff. We got Jabbar Washington, who's won 3 state championships of his own. So the leadership is definitely there all around when it comes to North.
North, of course, historic in both boys and girls basketball for many years. The 90s produced Khalid Elamine and the pair of championships, and then, of course, Elamine went
a triple pair of championships.
Of course, he goes to UConn, and his now famous line, "We shocked the world" after that championship. So.
Yes.
And you had some success, too, if I recall correctly.
Of course. I actually can say that I've won 1 state championship, but it's the most precedented one because it was the first. So it worked out.
First one's always the hardest.
Looked like we got the tip-off.
Johnson wearing the black jerseys. North wearing the white with the red trim.
Controlled by North, looks like. Oh, we're going at them hard right away.
These are up-tempo teams, and what else would you get from the City Conference? They're not going to fool around.
Yeah.
Deloney could not get the alley-oop, though, and so Johnson will get their first shot. North first conference title in 5 years for boys basketball.
It looks like we're pressuring full court, Mike. It looks like they really want to up the ante and really go attack on the defensive end with North.
Rosenblum for 3. Yes! Don't let Rosenblum's size fool you. He's a great three-point shooter.
But that's how the game's usually played out. Like, a lot of players really don't ever want to play in their position. They like to step their game out, show that they got range, and it usually works out sometimes.
Elamine with the ball. There's another item off my bucket list. I get to call Elamine in a game.
Yes.
Stops, pops, no good from Collins. And it's rebounded, no putback from Devine. Here comes Tyler. He's the leading scorer for Johnson. Gets the layup.
That was a definite attack to the rim. He showed no fear. He attacked the basket. He used his body well, and he at the finish.
You warned me that you'd be the best color commentator I had all season. It's already going that way.
When you know the game, you know the game. And I love this game, and I'm really sure that this is going to be an exciting one.
Blocking foul on Henry. That'll be his first. Bragging rights on the line, but not much else. No implications for rankings or playoffs will be decided by this game, so they can afford to experiment a little bit.
Of course. It's always definitely that St. Paul, Minneapolis connection of you always want to be known as the best team in the city.
Traveling violation
again on
Collins. They wanted a traveling call on Hicks, but they got it anyway. Now, you played in a few Twin Cities games, I imagine,
yes.
So what was the atmosphere like for you?
Wow, we've actually played in 3 out of 4. We missed my sophomore year. We actually tied that year. But it was always the atmosphere of always wanting to be able to be known as the Twin Cities' best team going into the state tournament. And it always prepared you.
Morlick. There was a foul before the shot.
Yeah, before the shot.
I think I hear an echo. 16:31 to go. Johnson up 5-0. Fouls on Ariel Deloney, his first. Conwell, backcourt violation.
That was caused by number 22. Hicks. It was caused by him based on the fact that he put pressure on the pass, made sure that he had a tough pass to make, and ended up resulting in a turnover for North.
Now, I understand as Hicks has the ball, you didn't take too kindly to what I said about the girls' Minneapolis City teams at that Twin Cities game. We've got Conwell with the steal, but he can't finish. And we've got a traveling call. Jumped once, you can't jump twice.
And let's recall that comment that was made while I watched the Twin Cities game. You said South, which has been the most dominating team in past years, but if I recall, I don't want to toot the horn of Minneapolis North girls, but we were the first to ever dominate. And we opened the door for a lot of teams. But I do give a lot of credit to Minneapolis South. They have had a great program for the last 5 years. Obviously, they've had Taylor here, who's had success at Ohio State. So they're really doing a great job.
You just don't want me mentioning her point total.
No, that's fine. It's no problem, because I know a lot of times when it comes down to it, success is always built off the success of the past, and I'm one of those past players that loves the growth of the game, and as long as we had a success in the Twin Cities, I'm good.
Ricky Collins at the line. He makes his first free throw.
Actually, Ricky called me right before the game, and I work extensively with Ricky on outside. He actually does music as well, and he's very good at it. And he actually texted me and said, "Hey, can you bring me a Gatorade?"
He's the team's leading scorer, 10.6 points per game.
Yeah.
5-2 is the score, but now that sounds like he's not doing a lot, but when you look at the North roster, pretty much everybody on their
pretty balanced
roster,
attack.
Pretty balanced attack. 13 players have 5 points or more on average, so.
Wow. So that's good. That's actually really good.
They beat you. There's more than one way to beat them. That's Tyler from the corner. Short. Fight for the rebound. Goes.
Run 4-on-2. Got a 4-on-2 fast break.
Elamine stops, pops, swish.
Wow. That's reminiscent of the 90s. Yes, definitely reminiscent of the 90s.
That's unfortunate. I was a little too young to remember Kyle at Elamine back in those days.
It's all right, because a lot of times you're actually getting a chance to see what the Elamine D is like, what the Elamine offense is like, and it looks like it's trickling down.
Tyler, backdoor to Rosenblum. He's going to the line. I think the biggest challenge today, if you and I are managed to stick together by the start of the second half, I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah. So give me a rundown. How did these two teams get here?
Johnson, undefeated,
yes.
Virtually not challenged all year in the St. Paul City Conference. Central, their closest competition. Rosenblum at the line. Central closest competition, but they couldn't even get within single digits. Minneapolis North, as Rosenblum makes his first 11-1 on the season. They're 1 loss to Henry, but again, they had the flu that first time around, so they weren't all together. But they just dominated the Minneapolis City Conference for the most part.
I love that word, dominate.
Well, except for Henry, they only beat them by 6, but still a win's a win, and it was good enough to secure first place and the right to play in this conference or Twin Cities championship. So Johnson, the heavy favorite. Rosenblum makes both, but Broderick Powell actually likes to be in this position.
Travel. That looks like a travel right there. But hey, he really protected the ball well, went up strong, just couldn't finish.
To finish that point, Broderick Powell, he likes to be in this position. We've got a blocking foul on Marcus Marshall because North is the underdog. There's no pressure on them. The pressure's going to be on Johnson to stay undefeated.
Of course. But one question I have for you, when the teams come in undefeated, there's always that philosophy of it. Sometimes it's always good to have a loss before you go into it. What do you think?
Well, if they're going to lose, they better do it now, because after this, it's the playoffs, and it's one loss, you're out. Records don't mean anything here. Johnson, I don't think a loss would hurt them too much. They've had to sweat it out a couple times, but Vern Simmons, I've talked with him, and we've got a steal. Open layup opportunity. Oh my goodness.
Hey, he wasn't going to let the crowd down on that one.
Roosevelt Scott wakes me out of my sleep. I might have a cold, but Roosevelt Scott, he's going to get rid of that in a second. That's Deloney. We've got a traveling violation.
It was a good idea. It was a good idea on that, but he took one too many steps, and it's going the other way.
To finish that point up about Johnson, their philosophy is they take it one game at a time. No one team has more credence than another. So when they beat Hopkins, they didn't treat it like a big deal. When they beat other top teams, no big deal to them either. Just one game at a time, and that's their philosophy.
And that's always how it should be. I mean, I can speak on a lot of teams that I've played on, especially in high school. We actually won the state championship in '98 as an undefeated team. We were challenged throughout. We ended up having our biggest challenge when we made it to state, but we were able to rally and get the championship.
Chris Smith-Bond couldn't get the layup. Roosevelt Scott was there to clean it up. And that thing with Johnson, as I mentioned in the open, they will play all their roster before the first half ends, so get ready for a lot of changes. That's for three, short from Malik El-Amin. Johnson ball, 11-4 is the score.
I'm noticing that they went to halves now. Is that true?
Yes, well, that is true. I'll get to that point in a second.
Okay.
Chris Smith-Bond out to Lee for three. Short from Marcus Marshall. Rebound, no putback, but free throws for Rosenblum. 2005-06 seasons when the high school league switched from quarters to halves, and you saw much more run-type game where scoring runs had more dictation on the style of offense than it did under quarter system. I don't know what it was like when you played quarters, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think quarters gives you a little bit more of a chance to get strategy worked out. I mean, when you have what is it, 16-minute halves?
18.
It's more so, or 18 minutes and a half. So it comes down to it's a lot more runs that are made during that time, and you have to take more timeouts compared to when you have a quarter, where you get more time during that end of that quarter to talk about strategical plan.
The other big change with that as well, with quarters, it was 32 minutes total playing time. When they changed it to halves, it was 18 minutes, so they added 4 minutes to the high school varsity roster time.
Yes.
Rosenblum makes both. Johnson opening up to a 9-point lead, and look at this. We've got dueling cheerleaders.
Oh, of course. We definitely have the dueling cheerleaders. And I was going to make that point at the beginning. I think it comes down to the spirit of the team and spirit of the game. Sometimes comes through the cheerleaders.
Johnson going for the steal, runs out of bounds. Scott not letting up, and that's the Johnson philosophy.
Yes. What do you think the pressure is like to be an LME?
For Malik's case?
Yes.
Well, it's not like his dad was Khalid El-Amin, but that's his uncle, and I imagine there's some pressure because of what he did for North.
But his dad also played at North High School. Another one of his uncles, Ishmael El-Amin, also played with North and actually won a championship when Khalid was a sophomore. So they have a lot of tradition when it comes to El-Amin's winning championships and being dominant at North High.
El-Amin, a junior, and the key for him is really not to worry too much about trying to be the next Khalid.
Yes.
He needs to develop his own game and not try to live in someone else's shadow. And that's always tough when you've got a relative who's done well in the sport that you're playing.
Definitely.
Inside, Chris Smith-Bond.
Good block. That was definitely a good block.
I believe that was Collins.
No, actually, I think that was number 21.
Oh, Deshaun Smith.
Deshaun Smith got that out of there.
I couldn't tell from up here.
Yeah.
Malik El-Amin going to the line.
That's definitely what you want to do. You want to attack their chest, get to the rim, make the ref make a call.
Most of the time it works.
A lot of the coaches are making sure that the players know, give them the right points, and making sure they know what the next step is while they get their rest and get their breath.
Elamine at the line, misses his first. Elamine averaging almost 8 points a game coming into this contest. Sinks the back end. We got a few North fans taping for their
We got
team.
some battles going on throughout the crowd of sink it or miss it.
You wouldn't expect a rivalry between Johnson and North, but for today there is one. Traveling call on Conwell. What amazed me is, schools who you don't necessarily think of as rivals, Roosevelt, Humboldt last week, Johnson, North this week, fans are still getting into it like they are cold-blooded rivals.
And that's definitely, I was actually watching the Twin Cities game with Roosevelt and Humboldt, and you were saying that was Roosevelt's first time for the girls and since '92, as well as you said the girls, on Humboldt's side had never been to the Twin Cities championship. And they both of them to come in there and actually play like it was not their first time was interesting to see.
There's something about that Mississippi River. We have a blocking foul that will send Xavier Henry to the line. 12:30 remaining, 13-5. Johnson leads North. But for North to get here, I mentioned this in the open, the fact they're playing as a team. Broderick Powell told me it's a great thing for them, especially with all the crazy stuff that's been going on. Just some kind of catharsis for them, something to reflect a positive outcome going on in the North side.
Definitely.
Henry misses his first. They seem to miss when I start talking about anything else outside of the players. Henry averaging 3.6 points per game.
Now we have Chucky, well, I call him Chucky, but his name is Charles Smith. Number 4 has just entered into the game. And from what I've known when I was in high school, Chucky is definitely a three-point specialist.
Smith, a 5'10 sophomore guard, and Henry misses both, so North with a chance to capitalize here. Hicks goes to Smith, kicks out, looking for that 3 ball. There it is, no good, but the rebound by Smith. North gets another possession, tough shot, short, and it goes to Johnson. We have an open Conwell, Dante Warlick, and he's going to the line. A lot of fouls in the early going.
That was a lot of ball on that one. I have to admit, there was a lot of ball on that.
So that will send Conwell to the line. 7.6 per game. Again, Johnson and North not going to be winning any scoring titles, but they win in the column that matters most, the win column. Conwell's good on his first free throw. Fans still filing in.
I told you, we ain't on time, but we will be here.
We'll just pretend this is Los Angeles for a day.
Yes.
Fine with the rebound.
What I'm noticing with North, a lot of times, they're really not attacking when they get these offensive rebounds. It's like one dribble, pick the dribble up, and they're not really attacking the basket as they did at the beginning of the game. Could it be, you think it could be fatigue?
Possibly. North not as deep as Johnson, and that's how Johnson's won all their games this year. Johnson a heavy favorite to win the 3A state title.
Okay.
North, they're going to draw the foul. Malik Elamine will get it.
A little bit of bumping and shoving between the two.
Looks like
Elamine.
Go against Warlick.
Yes. But hey,
North,
I guess bragging rights on the line, though.
Not ranked in the top 10, although with the Hopkins win, you think they would get some respect. Elamine in trouble. Finds Smith. Johnson not letting them inside. Elamine nearly has the ball stolen from the free throw line. Gets the roll. Elamine with his first field goal. Johnson leads by 7. No foul called. Elamine with a clean strip. Timeout, Minneapolis North.
I'm always on the edge with that because we had one play just previously, about a minute ago, where I felt like it was all ball, but then you come back down and I feel like it was completely opposite, where it could have been more so seen as a foul. We
need a monitor.
Of course.
We need a replay. I need to figure out how to get in with ESPN or one of those guys.
Yeah.
Now, again, you mentioned how you had success with Minneapolis North, so tell me, what did that first state championship mean for you as you went on to Wisconsin, knowing that you got North on their way?
Well, I can say even the year before that, we ended up taking second place, losing in the finals. A game we possibly should have won based on how the game started. But I think at that time, we didn't have the mentality to actually take the full championship. And we knew the next year coming in that we had to reevaluate what we were doing and go back to the drawing board, and we ended up actually going undefeated that season.
North goes for the steal. Out of bounds line, their enemy there.
But you always want to dominate whenever you can when it comes to senior heavy lineups, because you don't get another chance after this. It's either make or break. You win it this year or it's said and done.
Both rosters senior heavy. This is Tyler going to Rosenblum. Johnson patient. They're going to wait till they have a good look. Conwell's got it, but he can't bring it down.
Push
that was Warlick.
Looks like they're on a fast break.
Malik Elamine one-on-one, takes it himself.
Nice. You can tell he's a little bit winded now, getting back on defense, but he made sure to finish that.
Tyler with the answer in the paint. But North starting to get some baskets in. We'll see if that gets them some momentum. Smith to Elamine. Stolen by Tyler, but he tried to find Conwell. He does find him. Rosenblum. Holy cow!
That was definitely a spectacular play right there. But I think it comes down to they need to get Elamine out. You can tell he's a little bit fatigued, and I think that last pass was more of a mental pass than it was an actual physical pass.
North ball, but you're right. North being a little fatigued out there, and you called it. Ricky Collins going to go back in to give Malik Elamine a breather. Now, have you called basketball before? This is the first time you've called the game before? Because I don't recall seeing you on the mic.
Who, me?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Mark Devine.
To Devine for the shove.
I didn't see that coming. Johnson for the answer. Bullseye. Roosevelt Scott brings the Johnson crowd back in this.
Definitely picking up now.
Ricky Collins loses the ball to Scott, but he can't handle it. It goes out of bounds. I was going to ask you, I don't think I've heard you call a game before.
Never. This is actually my first time.
What are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I needed to.
You'd be a perfect fit for this.
Oh, thank you very much. I think once you play the game, as long as I have, since the age of 10, and you know the game, and if you watch games, it comes down to just being able to be confident and knowing they can't see you when you're commentating. So.
At least not yet. Roosevelt Scott, can he take it himself? No, he gets the charge rolled on him.
That was great positioning.
That was a good call. We've seen our share of dunks and high-flying excitement, and yet expected from the boys' game. That's for two. Short. Devine with the rebound. He's going to the line.
That was definitely a good fight from persistence with the ball.
Well, Devine is starting to do what you had mentioned North wasn't doing at the start of this game, attacking the rim.
Yeah, and I think we were living and dying by the ball handling. We weren't really forcing their hand by making them move with the ball. It was more so ball handling and dribbling. And now they're seeing once you move the ball, you get open shots, and the rebounds are wide open.
Devine, 8 points a game almost. He misses his first. Johnson out of fouls to give, so North will shoot free throws for the rest of this half.
Hopefully we can capitalize on our free throws with being able to have 9 minutes to be able to get to the line, and maybe that'll force them to start attacking the basket.
Misses both. Free throws not a strong suit for either side yet. Scott out to Marshall. Back to Scott from the corner. Too long.
Attack the basket. Now it's all about attacking the basket, keeping your head up.
Gets Hicks the board for 3. No. Devine tips it, and it won't go to North. I thought Strickland might have had a shot there, but it went off a Johnson player, so North was wise to let it go. I couldn't see it from here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not down there.
And we're definitely up here.
Have you ever officiated a game before?
Never officiated a game, but during the game as a player, I officiated a lot of games. Because I'm always telling the ref, that's not a good call, that's not a bad call.
Hicks misses the point-blank shot. Marshall has it now. Anthony Lee back in the game.
We have a good crowd on hand now. Seems like everybody's starting to file in, and it's going to be a great one all the way down to the end.
Just in time to see Prince Williams get his first basket. Johnson continuing to attack the rim.
Get it over the line now. You don't want to get that over and back.
There's that 10-second rule. Hicks out to Smith for 3. Bullseye! You called it. Smith, the team's 3-point specialist.
We have a lot of the North High women's team in support of their team here tonight.
I'm not surprised. Marshall for 3. No good.
They actually have a game tonight where they're going to be playing to go to the finals of regions.
Minneapolis North on the bubble in terms of ranked teams in Class 3A for girls basketball, and all of that despite losing Faith Johnson-Patterson to De La Salle. I'd say that's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. I think they're doing really well at De La Salle too, aren't they? Undefeated?
They are undefeated.
Yes, that's great.
Well, she is a North product. North product, 5 state titles. I can't imagine she would be struggling too much.
Yeah, and I think they definitely have a great roster. A lot of those players that played for North last year did transfer, but you always go where the good coaches are. And Coach Johnson, Faith Johnson-Patterson, is definitely a great coach, and she always gives me credit for recruiting her.
Minneapolis North got the bailout timeout call before the 10-second violation, so 7:20 to go, 23-14. So I understand you've been getting active with some other stuff outside of basketball as you try to work your way back in at some point.
Yes, definitely. I've been doing a lot of stuff in the community. I work with a lot of the kids with youth events coordinating. I'm a radio personality for KMOJ 89.9, and I just do a lot of events, and it's been great. It's really a contrast compared to what I've been used to.
Where it was play in the summer, go overseas, come back, play again, and so on and so forth.
It's great to see the support for these kids, because this is really a special time in their life. 4 years of being able to be in high school, and it's really great to see the support.
Something my alma mater lacked.
Yeah.
I went to Harding, though. Their athletic program's not so good.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
At least not when I was there. Girls basketball back in the early 90s, they were a powerhouse, force to be reckoned with.
I never played against them.
Well, you played a little later when they fell apart.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm talking back when Shannon Loveline was there. And,
Shannon Loveline. Yeah, actually, Shannon Loveline didn't go to Harding. Shannon Loveline went to Harding?
She did.
And their sister Jody Loveline actually went to Creek-Durham Hall.
She finished there, yes. She did start at Harding, but she finished at
and I actually played against her sister in the Creek-Durham Hall versus North my freshman year, and they actually beat us for the Twin Cities Championship. So it's really a great thing to do this every year.
Loveline, of course, at Harding, she was a member of the first Minnesota women's basketball team to qualify for the NCAA tournament as they got to the second round.
All right. Looks like we got Elamine back in the game now.
That's for 3. No good from Tyler. Fight for the rebound. It goes to Lee, and he banks it in. You're right, Elamine is back in the game for the Polars. I'll tell you this with North, for a while this always confused me because there's Minneapolis North and there's North St. Paul, and both are the Polars, so when I hear them North, I could never tell which was which.
All you have to do is look at the colors. We're blue and white and they're red and white. But the best thing about it is, a lot of times when it comes down to it, when I meet people that go to St. Paul North, they're always asked if they go to Minneapolis North, and they're always recognized as Minneapolis North. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because of the tradition in sports, but it's always that way for some reason.
Lee got the last basket for Johnson. Strickland was short in his layup. You can't afford to give those up. Lee to Conwell. He can't get the bank. Rosenblum with the rebound. And the putback and the foul.
Looks like the camera, the videographer is really excited.
That she is, and as is the rest of the Johnson crowd. But they're used to this. They've been a powerhouse in the St. Paul City Conference for years. They've gone to state a bunch of times. They haven't been able to get to the final. They finished 4th a couple times back in 4A. But
yeah. It's so funny. You're from St. Paul, I'm from Minneapolis, and I always feel like I'm going to another country when I come to St. Paul. For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't know the street names, I don't know anything, but I'm really familiar with the St. Paul City Conference.
Because you didn't go to Minnesota, you went to Wisconsin.
Yes.
I went to the U of M for my college years, so I got myself acquainted with Minneapolis pretty quickly.
Yes. And I think I definitely know, obviously, Concordia. We played a lot of games there, as well as you know, St. Paul Central with all their success. And it's always those powerhouses that you know for a fact, but teams like Johnson, teams like Humboldt and Harding, you get to know more now.
Warlick got the charge called on Strickland. So Johnson with the 2-1 edge, North, they have a lot of work to do if they want to come back.
Wow, it's a 16-point lead right now.
Certainly not what I was expecting.
Exactly.
That loss to Henry, they lost by 36 that first time around when they had that flu game. This is Tyler. Marshall from the corner. No good, rebound Elamine.
Pull up. I would definitely say pull up here and see what he can do.
Pulls up, short, gets his own rebound.
Good rebound.
And the putback.
He stuck with it. He had the pull up, but he stuck with the ball, got the rebound, and got the putback.
And he's 2 points and 1 board closer to a double-double. Conwell or Warlick with the free throw swish. Smith to Strickland.
Hit that. He definitely can shoot that.
NBA three.
He can definitely make that.
Well, it hit rim, didn't go in, but I'm not going to question his range. Warlick looking for Conwell. He's got him.
Charles Smith actually was about, I'd say, 7 or 8 years old when I was at North, and he would always come because his sister Tyree Bronson, who was actually on the team who graduated in 03, she would always come to practice, and he would always, at 7 or 8, be able to make that even in that deep of a range.
Ricky Collins finally stops the bleeding as he gets the pull-up jumper for North. Tyler kicks out to Conwell. Conwell looking to go inside. Open three for Warlick. Shorts. Fight for the rebound. Goes to Conwell. Rosenblum inside. You don't want to leave him there. North's going to have to settle some things down. Johnson not letting up at all. Substitutions for both teams now.
I definitely could see a switch and change from when they subbed out Divine. When Divine went out, they kind of made a run, and now he's back in. Let's see if he can get that pace back. Because, you know, he made the good dunk. But ever since then, it's been really slow on the north side.
Maybe it's not too late to suit you up. You played with a few boys.
I've played with, yeah, of course.
Elamine, swish. Lee can't get the bank. Rebound, traveling violation on Scott. More substitutions coming in.
And it was crazy. He traveled, but he really didn't have any other choice.
Can't help when you fall. Roosevelt Scott coming in for the Governors. Now you can't fault him for the travel, just bad break. I've always found that rule to be odd, though. If you fall down, they won't let you back up unless you pass out or call a timeout.
Yes.
Foul on Johnson. That will send North to the line. Ariel Deloney, 1-on-1 situation.
We got about 4 more minutes here, Mike, and it looks like if they could cut this lead in half to about 8 before halftime, they probably still could have a chance at the end of the game.
If they can get it to win about 10, that'd be a good setup.
Yeah.
Although I've said the first half is merely just a setup. The second half is the money half.
Definitely. And I know a lot of players always have this thing with, well, I really want to start the game. They feel like if they're not a starter, they're not as important to the team. But I always tell players, it's not about the start of the game, it's about the end of the game. Those last 5 players that can get the win at the end of the game.
Wins aren't awarded to whoever has the most points at the end of one half.
Exactly.
Probably could find a way to say that in fewer words, but I'll work on that in the offseason. I got a lot of things to work on in the offseason.
Of
Johnson
course.
for 3.
Oh.
Yes. Roosevelt Scott left alone.
We're up to a 19-point lead now, Mike.
Johnson getting a lot of open looks. North just not staying on their assignments. Smith for 3. No good. Rebound. That's rebound to Scott Prince Williams going to the line.
One thing I'm noticing with Johnson is they're really attacking the basket and using each other. Once they draw that man out of the paint, they're making sure to make the right pass and either getting fouled or they're getting 2 points.
If North can't get control, we do have a mercy rule in effect this year. I hope that doesn't come into play.
Mike, we don't at North we don't deal with the mercy rule. We don't need mercy. We just fight to the end, even if we're all getting blown out.
Well, it wasn't just North. It was put in to prevent teams from scheduling cupcake opponents. So what happens that if the team is up by 35 or more with 9 to go in the second, they start running the clock.
Yes.
But you know about that.
Of course.
Prince Williams.
It's in our top. Oh, sorry. I'm just so used to those cheers.
Now, I'm a little confused here because they're saying it's all over. I hope they're not talking about the Polars.
Huh?
Smith. He gets the charge. A second charging call on North. This time, Xavier Henry draws it. The clock is not starting. There it goes. 2:47
Maybe that'll give us
to
a
go.
chance to come back.
Hey, that's a new rule. We've had that happen a few times. Deshaun Smith with the steal for North. Ricky Collins, double team. Works his way out of it. Stops, pops, swish.
That's a great move. He really didn't let the double team bother him. He tacked the baseline, was able to get the pull up and knock it down.
Well, Adrian Peterson's been up here enough. I think folks have figured out, hey, we don't need to worry about double teams. Just run around them. That's Prince Williams. He can't get the layup. Now North's starting to get more physical. Here comes Elamine. Stops, pops, not this time.
Good rebound. Definitely a good rebound.
Deloney, he can't get it down. Still fighting. Lee has it. Jump ball, possession arrow points to Johnson. 2:05 remaining. And Conwell not happy with the call. He wants a foul, pleading his case with the ref.
Yeah.
But Johnson, they're not going to get too antsy about it.
No, they shouldn't. I think it's really a 17-point lead right now. Just keep fighting like they've been doing. Obviously, the refs are not going to be able to get every call in, but they're definitely playing aggressive.
Well, even in closer games that Johnson has played with, they've always had respect. They don't get too animated about calls. They just focus on the next play.
Yeah. I think it's definitely important to know the tradition and the history of both teams. I mean, you have one team that has a numerous amount of championships, 5, and then you have another team who has, does Humboldt have a championship? I mean, Johnson have a championship?
Not a state title, no.
So I think it comes down to, I think it's also the rivalry of knowing the tradition that North brings with 5 championships and always wanting to dominate. And I think that's what Johnson is doing right now.
Marcus Marshall sinks the 3, so it's 42-22 in favor of the Governors. North looking for the answer, won't get it. Shots just aren't going down for the Polars.
But I think they're taking too many of those outside shots. I think they need to do this, exactly what he just did. They need to start attacking the basket, getting to the rim, and making either a foul or a basket.
Conwell puts Johnson up 44-22. It seems like no matter what the score is, Johnson seems to have a 2-1 advantage.
Yes. But you can definitely see it's a contrasting of styles. You have 3-pointers on one end and attacks on the other end.
You can't live by the jumper without dying by it.
Yeah. Unless they're dropping in the basket.
I'm afraid it's a philosophy they adopted with Minnesota on the women's side. I don't like it. Foul on Johnson, so a 1-on-1 situation here for Deshaun Smith.
Is this the first time you've ever called a men's North Johnson game?
First time I've called a men's North game. First time I've called a North game, period. I've called Johnson earlier this season. I was in girls basketball for 3 years, but then everyone said the talent level would drop this year. So I called a few boys games, but while that was going on, the quality of play on the girls side actually didn't diminish at all. It actually was better if you talk to Kevin Anderson, the recruiting guide publisher, in terms of efficiency.
Okay.
I think the only difference is just the press coverage has dropped because there's no Taylor Hill figures on the girls side, and I think that's unfair. 35 seconds left. Johnson may elect to hold for the final shot. There's still no shot clock in high school ball, and that hasn't changed since when you played.
And I've always wondered about that. I think once they get to college, being able to play with a shot clock, I would always definitely say it should be established sometime soon, because players are players regardless of no shot clock or shot clock, but it prepares them for the next level.
Tyler with the last basket for Johnson. Smith with the last basket for North. Scott won't add to North's lead, but Combo has the rebound. Off North, so Johnson with 4 seconds left to make something happen. Plenty of time. Marshall for 3. Got it.
I would definitely say that's the fault of Collins. He definitely should have denied that if Smith was going to be on the ball, because obviously once they touch the ball, it's going to be a shot.
Johnson going into the locker room with a 25-point lead, 49-24. We'll take a quick break, come back with first half analysis after this. Welcome back to high school boys basketball, presented by Buster Media Group. by Mike Peden here with Tamara Moore. We start the second half. Before we do that, let's take a look at the box score. And Johnson leading 49-24, so not a surprise at who's dominating as far as the numbers go. Max Rosenblum leading with 15 points, a lot of them inside, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Roosevelt Scott has 7. The next 3 all have 6 apiece. Marcus Marshall, Eston Tyler, Prince Williams. Minneapolis North still yet to find a player with double digits. Elamine leads with 9. Collins has 8. Charles Smith has 3. Deshaun Smith has 2, and Mark Devine has 2. 49-24. I don't need to say much more than that.
Yeah, and I would definitely like to see Mark Devine. His 2 points were a highlighted dunk. I would like to see him get a little bit more touch and see if he can make some more moves down in the paint.
So 37 seconds left. Now I know it's still in the developing stages, but since we're on the air, I want you to talk about this so the fans online can hear about it. You're trying to get a North alumni game together.
Yes, I'm definitely trying to do that. Trying to put ourselves in position and maybe do it in June, where we do a men's and women's alumni game with some of the notable players: Khalid Elamine, Jabbar Washington, Ozzie Lockhart, Cameron Taylor, and on the women's side, myself, Mari Horton, Maya Johnson, just to name a few of the players that have come through and had success after high school and into the next level of overseas or WNBA and NBA.
North wearing the white, Johnson wearing the black jerseys.
And I think the biggest thing is in this half, I would definitely like to see North attack the basket more, a lot less jump shots and more towards the basket.
This is a team that beat Hopkins earlier this season, so don't be surprised if North finds a way to come back.
And obviously we want to see Johnson just do the same thing that they've been doing, attacking the rim, and that's what you get when you attack the rim. You get a chance to get to the bucket, maybe possibly get a foul, and get 2.
And a traveling violation on Johnson. I was going to say that basket finally puts John Hicks on the board, and now all the fans are finally back in. They must have all gone to the bathroom.
More concession stands. I always love the concession stand at halftime. See if he can attack.
Elamine for 3. No. Rebound Conwell.
Oh, good rebound.
They get it out to Deloney.
That was a great steal. Great persistence on the ball. He stuck with it. He got the steal, and we're looking at 2 free throws.
It's like you're talking about no basket, but North attacking, and they're getting rewarded for it. You got a little cheese sauce on your jacket. Deloney can't make the first free throw. Even our own partner here, Tamara, is getting some snacks from the concession stand. I know I chowed down earlier.
Okay. Grab some napkins. They spilling all on my jacket over here, Mike. But hey, I told you I love the concession stand, and that's all they did for me. They got me a hot dog and some chips.
Well, you've got a stain remover, right?
Say it again?
You have a stain remover, don't you?
Of course.
Okay, well then you're fine. North couldn't make either free throw, but they have the ball. No three.
Watch out for that.
North, they got to stop throwing up jump shots because
They're not
gonna
falling.
look right.
That's the main point.
They're not going to look. They tried that in Minnesota and it didn't work. They were last in the Big Ten Conference on the women's side. The men, not so bad, but not as good as everyone thought they'd be.
But I definitely think once you see what you do attacking the basket, it should open everything up. But they're still living and dying by that three-point shot.
That's not going to get you far in playoff time. Warlick was looking for Henry inside, but pass was low. .44 in the second half, 49-26 is the score. After this, we'll be doing some state tournament coverage, but this is it as far as full-length coverage. I don't think I'll be doing another basketball game until the All-Star Series, perhaps. Elamine, double teamed. They find Hicks. Goes.
Collins for three.
Collins. Can't get the three.
Straight up.
Deloney with the rebound, and he gets the putback. Warlick, that could have been a foul.
Good hustle. That's definitely good hustle. Good persistence. Good pursuit of the ball.
Elamine driving inside, gets the layup.
And it's attacking the basket. Getting your body into the player, finishing the shot. They're doing a great job of that.
And Johnson's going to call timeout. North scoring the first 6 points of this second half. And you mentioned with Collins, you said he was also pursuing music. Why don't you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, he is definitely pursuing music. I actually work with him, obviously working with the radio station. He loves hip-hop and R&B, and he's actually a hip-hop artist, and he's trying to make some things happen with that, and he's hard working at it, and he has a lot of potential to be a great artist.
Well, I'm not surprised with KMOJ, that R&B hip-hop connection. KMOJ is all that's left.
Yes. You know, and we're actually in a process of getting a power increase, as well as we're about to move into our new building in April. So we're moving back to the north side of in the community and being able to be that fixture that we were in years past.
Going right into the teeth.
Yes.
And I don't mean the bad teeth.
Yes.
I don't mean the cavity-filled ones.
You've actually been able to spend some time with me in my community and in my neighborhood in the North Minneapolis.
Conwell and the foul. He got the layup inside and he gets the contact. I didn't see it from here, but again, in real time, it's hard to catch some of those contact fouls.
Yeah.
Yeah, the running joke up with North was how long I'd hold up on Broadway.
Yes, and you did a great job, but I had to pick you up halfway.
What was it the Black Eyed Peas said, meet me halfway?
Yes. I wanted to meet you all the way.
Uh-oh. I don't know how to take that. Conwell with the three-point play. 52-30 is the score. Johnson well on their way to finishing undefeated, but North might have a few things to say about that. Elamine can't get the bounce, and it will stay North ball.
We got some of the North High girls players here with us, helping us out. I think maybe they can tell us a little bit about their game a little bit later in our broadcast.
Deloney to Hicks for three. That three-point shot just not falling. Foul on Johnson. Either North is stubborn and they aren't going to give up on that three, or Johnson's doing such a good job inside that they can't get inside and penetrate. I don't know what you're seeing, but that's my thought.
It really seems like their defense is really smothering. They make sure to play up on the ball. They're always attacking, and it sometimes feels like instead of 5 minutes, sometimes feels like 7. And with the rotations, it seems like while they're playing sometimes with a deeper bench, they're allowed to do that, where they're able to press the ball, where they're able to get up and attack because they know subs are coming in right away.
Foul trouble not an issue for them. That's for three. Collins finally gets a three-pointer to fall.
We got Collins with some fans over here.
Traveling violation on Roosevelt Scott.
At 10 minutes, I'm going to ask them about their game tonight. So
15-10, we'll talk to the North girls players to talk about their season and how they've handle the coaching transition from Faith Johnson-Patterson. But in the meantime, holy cow, how did he get that bounce? That was Collins. He got a crazy bounce.
Trying to cut this lead in half by the 10-minute mark.
They can do that. They're back in it.
Look up the floor. Look up the floor.
Collins open for 2. No. That was too quick. I thought he should have gone inside.
He should have probably dropped it to Elamine underneath the basket for a layup. It's kind of ambitious of him to try to go for that 3 when you have a man wide open underneath the basket. I mean, obviously, as a player or a coach, you think if you knock it down, it's good. But if you don't, then
maybe you saw that Blizzards game where you took the wide open 3 and banked it in. Maybe he thought I could do that too. That was one surprise. I will admit that. I thought you were going to go inside. All of a sudden, he's going for a 3. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I'm 5'10", and I'm playing against all men. So I'd rather stay outside, knock down 3s, and let the big guys make the work.
Well, it worked a couple times.
Yes.
Now, I know you've talked about this. Is there a time frame or an idea about perhaps returning in a WNBA jersey for you?
Yes, I was thinking about working on that this summer. I'm actually in the process. I ended up getting injured in December, had a major hamstring injury, so it kind of took me out of position to really work out like I wanted to. So now I'm back in the gym, working on my game, and I'm trying to make a return sometime this summer.
What did you think about Waylon joining the Lynx?
I love it. It's great for the state of Minnesota. It's great for her, and she's a great player. I spent 2 years of college playing against her. Spent 4 years of WNBA playing against her, and she's one of those players that can dominate a game on both ends of the floor.
Conwell with the last basket for Johnson. We've got a foul on Johnson. It's on Conwell.
I really think SPNN does a great job of opening up the doors for these players to have some exposure, whether that be in the state of Minnesota or outside of that in college.
Well, the one reason why we put these games on SPNN and online is for fans who maybe don't have cable, fans to reach out, because as Collins goes for 3, bullseye!
He's really starting to warm up. And once you knock some shots down, that forces you to be more aggressive on defense, and you get steals just like that.
Hicks with the steal. Can he put it down? No. Again, I thought a little too quick. Alameen was open again. No traveling call on Scott, but North's hitting their 3s. You start to wonder, did they find the ignition switch? Charles Smith back in the game. He's going to give Alameen a breather. Marcus Marshall in the game for Johnson.
Their leading scorer for Johnson is who?
Rosenblum, but I don't think has scored at all this half. No, he hasn't.
And on the season?
On the season, coming into today, it was Tyler leading the way with 13.6 a game.
What is he doing right now? Is he making an impact on this game?
Tyler had 6 in the first half.
Right.
I do not believe he scored, but I don't have a statistician with me. That's one thing I got to get. Roosevelt Scott adding 2 more points in his total.
Oh, that's great steal.
Steal.
Great steal.
Johnson not going to sleep anytime soon. Scott thought about a 3, finds Marshall. Johnson not going to take any crazy shots.
Yeah, I think it's really creative how he went from getting an assist on one end to being able to make another play on the ball and get a steal to maybe make it a 4-point play.
Marshall for 3. No. Scott's there, though. North couldn't box out in time. He can't clean it up. And it's rebounded by Deloney, who gets it to Collins. To Smith. Going quick. On the line is Smith Bond, and so it will be North ball. I still believe, though, North taking shots a little too quickly when that, I know they're in that fast break, but perhaps getting that extra pass out, finding a better shot.
Yeah.
Shots they're taking are contested, they're not falling, and North, they like to get their bragging rights back.
Of course, it's always about that. I mean, a lot of people say it's not, but it is, because it's a border battle. St. Paul versus Minneapolis.
Deloney can't bring it down. It's rebounded by Deshaun Smith, and he'll go to the line.
The work in the glass right there.
You're talking about support. I saw a few Minneapolis South players in attendance from the boys team.
Oh, okay. That's what high school is all about. Even if you're a rival team, when it comes to games like this, it's always great to have support from the Minneapolis Conference or the St. Paul Conference.
I don't see too many other St. Paul teams here. Especially, I'm surprised given the success of St. Paul Central. Deshaun Smith is 1 of 2. Central second in the conference, but they're a top 10 team in 3A with Johnson.
Okay.
Henry is open.
This might sound
North throws it away.
This might sound a little bit strange, but there are I don't know if it's what I'm observing, but I don't know if this is politically correct to say, but where are all the Caucasian players?
Good question. I think that's all right to say, as long as we don't throw out any expletives. I don't think we'll have a problem. But,
no, it's never that.
I have noticed that too. Girls and boys, you go to the inner city schools and then the suburban schools, the dynamic is a lot different.
Yeah. But I think the games are still, I think the game is obviously the same as far as talent-wise.
That wasn't Henry, that was Hicks with the layup. Not quite enough vertical to dunk it. Warlick to an open Henry. He goes for the dunk, but he gets the roll. I thought he was going to dunk it, but goes for the layup. 2 points nonetheless. That's Charles Smith. Where was that pass going? You know, that was an odd pass when Tamara Moore is speechless.
I'm eating chips.
Well, you're eating chips, but
man, I had to focus on something else.
I think he was looking to replace Brett Favre there.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Chester Taylor going to Chicago.
That I'm not too looking forward to.
Julius Peppers, a 6-year deal.
For 3, bullseye. I'm not happy that Taylor went over to Chicago because he was a great compliment to Adrian Peterson.
That's 3 points right there.
No, over the backboard. The big difference between him is Taylor could hang on to the ball, and the scoreboard is off. There it goes. Scoreboard was off on one side.
I wish it was off for a little bit.
Taylor could hang on to the ball. Peterson, I won't talk about their game with the Saints.
Yes. Got Elamine back in the game.
North going for the steal. Not quite. 11:01 to go, 63-41. Johnson leads. I'm meaning to get your assistance next year for some high school broadcasts, perhaps.
That'll work.
Maybe some sponsorships or something, because we're definitely lacking on that. We'd like to get some sponsor-supported games again.
Of course, that's always important.
Well, it helps to pay us. Helps to pay the crew, too.
Yeah.
Well, it helps cover the production costs.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by pay us. That's Warlick to Tyler.
Do we have any scholarship seniors on the team?
Scott to Henry. I don't know about any scholarship seniors for either team. No one had told me about them. I know some Johnson players are getting offers at the D1 mid-major level in their senior class.
Okay.
But Vern Simmons told me he doesn't really matter about how many of his kids are playing basketball. He says they're all going to go to college.
Yes. That's definitely important, being able to put education first.
Deshaun Smith with the layup for North. You see North getting a little more aggressive, just not getting the steals in time.
Yes.
Marcus Marshall for 3.
Wow, it seems like it's like the tale of two halves. You got North attacking the basket a lot more, and then you have Johnson shooting a lot more threes, and it seems like they're converting on both. But it's still tough for North to try to get back in this game if they're going to give up 3 and for 2.
As North is going to the line, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Lady Polars?
We have 2 Lady Polars here now, don't we? Oh, tell them who this is.
Yeah, this is Talea Rich, LPB.
And who else do we have?
Asia Jacobs, LPB.
Oh, my God, that must be something we don't know about. But tell us about the game tonight.
Well, right now I think the boys are really unfocused, and their defense, they're lacking a lot of defense. So right now they need to pick up the defense.
And you guys play who tonight?
Waconia.
And what can we expect from you guys? It's the game to go into the region finals. Do you know anything about Waconia?
Yeah, we play them at the beginning of the season, but
that was our second game, so their chemistry wasn't as much as how it is now. So it might be a different team we play from the beginning of the year. So. Yeah.
And the last question for you guys is: are you guys going to state?
You already know.
We're going to state.
All right, that's some of the girls from the North High team. They're going to have a game tonight against Waconia to go to the region finals and hope to make it to state.
Two more games. If North can win, they would go to the state tournament again. Johnson with the layup. Looked like it was Rosenblum. There was a lane violation on Minneapolis North. It's 70-43. We're getting close to that mercy rule coming into effect. I don't think North's going to allow it. I'd imagine they don't want to allow it.
I definitely think that the coach for Johnson wanted a push off on Elamine when he tried to attack the sideline.
He may be mellow off the court, but on the court, he gets in his zone. Vern Simmons does.
Oh, yeah.
But he's pretty mellow. He doesn't like to think much of Johnson's undefeated record or how there's perhaps the greatest team this year in the state. To him, it's just one game at a time. That's a two-pointer that doesn't fall for 23. That's Deloney. Can't get the bounce. No putback.
I think Deloney is really making a great effort on the glass. He's not giving up on any of the balls, and he's actually putting together a great rebounding game right now.
Free throws coming up here for Marcus Marshall. To go on your point earlier about that team dynamic, it's something that I do find odd. In the city schools, that when you go from the city to the suburban schools, the dynamic of the rosters change. Like you said, doesn't necessarily change the style of play, but it is odd to know. You do kind of wonder what's going on a little bit, why it is the way it is.
I mean, it does push the numbers when it comes to enrollment with most of the inner city schools. A lot of the inner city schools are predominantly minority based, so I think that could be a reason. I know for a lot of times when I was in high school, we had a balanced roster. I mean, our numbers for minority to majority were sometimes 7 to 5, and then on the boys' side, it was a lot of times it was. For 4 years that I was in high school, they had actually only had one Caucasian player for 4 years. So I'm not sure what the dynamic is, but I think as long as everyone is getting opportunity, it's a great thing.
North side in particular, Deloney makes his first free throw. I don't want to say it's a different world, but it certainly can be a shock if you're not prepared for it and if you're not open to different cultures surrounding you.
Exactly. But I think it also helps out that everybody has the love of the game, so that definitely plays a big role in everybody being able to make things work.
Well, that went into the scheduling this year. Tyler, yes.
I definitely think the North's pressure in the backcourt is really making it to be where they're getting a lot of easy, and they're leaving, is it Deloney? They're leaving him out to dry a lot in the back by himself with 2 and 3 players.
That's not going to get it done. Another steal, here comes Lee. Backdoor to Rosenblum. A little Globetrotter ball there.
That was great teamwork. 3 players touch the ball and you get a layup.
76-45, North will take time out with 8:26 remaining. This game might be in the books for Johnson. They have scored 100 on occasion. This was not the North team I was expecting to show up today. I thought they'd be a little more
focused.
Yeah. Not to say. I think though we caught them more at a bad game. Minneapolis North is not this bad. A team that beat Hopkins, they can't be as bad as they might look on screen. But for Minneapolis North, it's sort of getting back to the powerhouse eras that they had in the 70s and the 90s. And the cheerleaders, certainly, the way they're going at it, I don't think they've looked at the scoreboard all game.
I know, they're going to battle regardless.
As long as no one throws a punch, we're all right.
Of course.
Brittany Griner, we had one too many of those.
Did you see that?
I did see that on ESPN on the highlight reel. I know a lot of folks have been playing Griner physically, but especially late in the season, Griner, I think, got off a little lucky with the 2-game suspension. but that's an ill-advised move. I understand emotions run high, and sometimes you do things you wouldn't do otherwise, but
Yeah.
with what's on the line for Baylor at this critical point of the season, you can't have mistakes like that.
Definitely, and I think she's one of those focal players where it's not like she's easy to miss. She's very hard to miss, and being, 6'8", 6'9", and having players on her that are a lot smaller, that's definitely not going to go unnoticed.
Elamine can't get the layup here. Here comes Lee. Johnson a little too fancy there.
Definitely.
Strickland gets the swish. North going for the steal, and it works. They force a Johnson turnover here, so even though North is down and likely out of this as far as winning the game goes, still playing heavily.
Yeah, and it's good to see them still fighting.
Well, they know the season's not over. This is Collins. Now you're talking about oddities as Collins is short on the three. It's also the first time I've had a female call a boys basketball game.
Yeah, how am I doing so far?
Well, I'd say you're doing fine. I don't think it's too much of a difference, but I think it's still a little strange or not necessarily fair that they don't have females calling male basketball games.
Well, on ESPN, they have a lot of females that call games. They have Michelle Tafoya, who's actually a native of Minnesota. They also have Kara Lawson, who does a lot of the NBA games. So there's a lot of women out there. Nancy Lieberman.
Is Lawson done with the WNBA? Or
no,
okay.
The seasons don't overlap, so she's able to make it to training camp on time.
Now, what happened with her? Because I know she was with Sacramento last season, but the Monarchs have folded. Did
she got picked up. I'm not exactly with what team, but I know she definitely got picked up. Actually, the Lynx got to pick up Rebecca Brunson, who's a great pickup and an athlete in the post for them. So it's definitely good. And then Tulsa has a new team, which they relocated Detroit to Tulsa coming up in this next year.
Now, what do you think about that? Because Oklahoma City, they got an NBA franchise after New Orleans resided there temporarily, and that worked out. Do you think that will be a boon for because Oklahoma, when you think about it, they don't have any other pro teams, so the Tulsa shop will be the only show in town.
I think it'll definitely work out. I really wish that they would give a chance to Wisconsin. I wish they would give a chance to Wisconsin because always in the years that I was at Wisconsin for 4 years, we always had 7,000 to 8,000 fans a game. So it gave us a lot of opportunity. And I wish they would see it maybe in Milwaukee or Madison.
Wisconsin on the rebound this season. After last year when it looked like the bottom would fall out for them, and their coach Lisa Stone, she brought in an assistant coach, helped out with the offense. Wisconsin winning games again. Not quite a powerhouse, but hey, they're winning ball games. Stat padding time here for Johnson as Combo gets the basket.
Well, I'm not for sure, but right now 75%. 75% right now.
I don't know if you can afford any extra room, but I might want to check out these Lady Polars myself. I haven't seen them play I only got to see them play in the state tournament last year.
They're really excited because obviously De La Salle is doing very well, and if they do make it to state, they'll have an opportunity to possibly play them in state.
Would that be something? Faith Johnson-Patterson against the team that she made famous. Roosevelt Scott, he'll be on the highlight reel tonight. Collins losing the ball. 6:13 to go. We've got a foul on North. They had one to give.
I think Collins is really trying to do some good things, but I think he needs to really put himself in position to make sure he's still staying in the team's philosophy and what they got going on. And it looks like he's injured, Mike.
He's stepping out of the game.
And he's one of their key players right now because he's one of the ones that's really knocking down the three-pointers right now.
Doesn't look too serious. I think they'll have him out for a moment or two. In the game for North, we'll get a number here in a second, is Shondale Strickland. Malik Elamine back in the game. Almost in a flashback there. No three for Tyler. Conwell had the board, lost it. Hicks is open if he can take it. And almost a block, but
that was good defense, but better offense.
Not much you can do there.
Not at all.
Tyler, that's for 3.
I would call this a bucket.
No good. Over
Sometimes.
the backboard. And it's stuck. It's stuck behind the pole. I think the ball's going to take a timeout here. We forgot to tell you there was a timeout that belonged to the ball. The ball's going to take one, and the refs aren't sure how to do this because normally it gets stuck on top, but it's stuck right in the middle.
They might need to get a broom.
They're going to bring it in on the ball
Okay.
to knock it down, and the ref misses. He hits the side of it, and they'll send in the. And now they're just going to use that ball. So a new ball is going to come in.
Yeah, it's really not in the way. So maybe if the new ball comes in, maybe we can come back.
We'll see.
See how this new ball treats us. Watch the hands. That's a lot of hand action right there.
Elamine finds an open Strickland. He has to take that. But he does draw the foul, so it's not that bad. But he was open.
I definitely think he should have took the 3.
Well, it's not an uncommon to see. You have a player that's so open they forget what to do. They don't expect to have wide open space.
Yeah, but then I do think the defense really made an effort to get out there and at least put their hand up. He didn't know if he was going to be able to contest the shot or not, but he forced him to put the ball on the floor. Even though he's at the free throw line, it still made him change what he was doing.
So more WNBA news. They mentioned about the Lynx. They also picked up Hamchetu Maigaba. They released Tasha Humphrey to make room for Maigaba,
Okay.
who was also with Sacramento.
Yes, Maigaba, I actually played with her when I played for Houston, and she's one of those players that is going to get the job done day in and day out, regardless of what she's doing, whether that be rebounding, whether that be defense, scoring. She's going to do it all.
This is Scott. Finds
Basket.
Warlick, but he's too strong. Scott with the board. No putback. Johnson getting a little sluggish here late. Blocking foul on North, so free throws coming up.
I think that might be, is that foul number 5 or number 44? He's walking towards the bench.
On Devine.
That's foul number 5.
Yep, he's out. Not that it changes the outcome of this game a whole lot.
Not at all.
I'm going to have to check out these Lady Polars here against Waconia, see how they fare, because had Faith Johnson-Patterson stayed there, I would have picked North to win that that Minneapolis conference, but they still played well.
Yeah, I think they were one game out of first place. They have a really good coach in Tara Starks, and they have some good assistants around them. Maya Johnson went back, who was one of the top players. She was a Miss Basketball candidate, played 3 years at Michigan State, 1 year at St. Louis. So they have a lot of tradition around the school.
Maya Johnson put up some solid numbers a couple years at Michigan State, looking to play overseas now.
Yep.
She graduated last year. Of course, I'm a little partial because I went to Minnesota, so
yes.
A few times when they beat us, I wasn't so thrilled about it.
We have number 33 in the game now. Who do we have?
Don't have his number on the roster. It might be Taj Rich Jr.
Yes, that's Taj Rich Jr.
And he does get the ball.
And actually, we just interviewed his sister who plays on the North girls team.
There's a lot of bloodlines that run with North.
Yes,
hard to get away from it.
Definitely, and their dad actually was an assistant coach for a while and helped out with the North girls and boys program.
Now, did you have any siblings that played in basketball, or were you the trailblazer?
No, my brother. A lot of the recreational kind of basketball, but other than that, it was just me.
And look what you did.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
Well, that's where I was going. That's where I was leading. I'm not saying your career was even though I could go online and find out how many players have surpassed your career scoring total, but more importantly, what you did for North, getting them to help on their way, getting them to what would be the first of 5 state titles and bringing a powerhouse program to the North girls side. I'd say that's good enough.
And I definitely think it's been great. We have 5 state championships, but to be in the position to have 110 would have been great. But we actually have 5 second places as well. So I think just in all of the fact that before 97 we had only been to state 2 times in school history, and to now have been over 14 times is a good accomplishment for a school.
You have some tape nearby, I might want to take a look at that.
Of course. I got a state championship game from '98 at home.
That
if
was
you
when
wanna watch it.
Channel 9 was broadcasting, if I remember.
Yeah, that's correct. When they had what is her name? She did commentating. She Janet Carvenet. Janet Carvenet used to.
She's a legend.
Yeah, she used to
how
do
did
it.
that feel for you, having a legend calling your game?
Well, at the time, I didn't really know her as a legend. I just knew her as, Janet Carvenet. She did a lot of her Janet Carvenet camps. She was really good with shooting techniques and things like that. So we didn't really put it in perspective that she was a legend, but it's good to know that we had that type of atmosphere around us.
Well, you wanted 6 degrees. Carvenet was also part of the crew back as we've got no basket here for Jalen DuBose.
We saw a lot of, I got another bloodline for you. Faith Johnson Patterson's nephew is in the game right now, number 5.
I don't have his name on the roster. They don't have his number. I'll see if we'll try to get it for you.
Yes, but he is the nephew of Faith Johnson Patterson and actually is my actual second cousin.
But Strickland for 3, no good. Carvenet was also on hand to call the state tournament when Kiara Buford's mother was playing back in Highland Park in 1986.
Yes.
And I know that because I did find some footage, and we snuck some in when Buford played in the All-Star Series. Her mom didn't like that.
Yeah.
But that was back in the 80s. She had that giant mullet, and I've never let her forget about that since.
And it's actually Jarvis Johnson who just came into the game. And that's Faith Johnson's nephew.
His name?
Jarvis Johnson.
Jarvis Johnson, okay. New players in for Johnson as well, Xavier Black.
Seems like there's a lot of bloodlines going through the North community, and I'm pretty sure there's probably some on the other side too as well.
Of course, 45 now broadcasting the tournaments. I was a part of it yesterday. I called the state semifinal wrestling matches at the X. First time over there. I never thought it'd be for wrestling, but it is what it is.
Yes.
That was actually a lot of fun. If I want to go back and do it again, I'm hoping that Grand Stadium will do something for the quarterfinals for basketball, because I'd love to be a part of that. Now on your end, what else are you doing? We have another. What else are you doing as you work your way back in to try to keep your name out there in the community? I know you host some dancing events.
Yeah, I put together a female hosting clique, or female hosting team. We go by Assorted Chocolates Entertainment. And what we do is we just go around the Twin Cities hosting different events, whether that be club nights, parties, things like that. So I've been really involved in the community on all levels.
Jalen DuBose for 3. Tyler gets the response.
With a nice bank off the glass.
Maybe we can get them out sometime to cover the whole game, bring out the whole assorted chocolate, or what I call the aces.
The aces. Oh. He wasn't too for sure on that shot.
Rich said that was an odd. It seemed like he was hesitated
like
just a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like he saw a pass, but at the last minute decided to shoot it.
And I often equate that with driving. You don't want to make a choice and change your mind midway through that decision. You go for it, whether it's a pass or a shot. North and Johnson sending in their reserves. Well, for Johnson, there really are no reserves. They essentially have 10 starters.
Yeah.
Rich going to the line.
He's really being aggressive to the basket. He's made a lot of crucial plays, some rebounds on the defensive end. He's been attacking the basket. Now he'll get rewarded with 2 free throws.
And so what have you learned after you took some time off from the WNBA and then you got injured, having to nurse yourself back? What have you learned spending some time outside the WNBA doing the stuff that you're doing?
The major thing that I've learned is always stay prepared and always stay ready, because you never know when the next opportunity is going to come. So that's the main thing that I've learned. But I played overseas. I played 7 years overseas, and that's something I can always do and always get back to. But I'm definitely working my way back, and hopefully I'll be back this summer.
Well, if you go back this summer, as Henry gets icing on the cake there, you go back this summer, don't be surprised if I don't treat you like I am now, if I am planning to return to cover Lynx games again.
That sounds good.
Well, they're the big ticket right now for basketball. The Wolves are still the Wolves.
Stinky.
William Porter with the three-pointer for North.
Right now it's a
Stinky's an
29-point lead, and I like how the teams are still fighting like it's 0-0.
Well, stinking is an understatement for the Wolves. I think they've gone beyond rotting.
Oh, of course.
But the Lynx, they're playing to win now. I
Maybe
think they realize that Simone Augustus, the only experience on the team. Well, North now making their threes. You start to wonder why they're, maybe if they did some of that earlier, but Johnson maybe not as aggressive.
Yes. But I also think you'll be so happy to know that I was actually just with Simone this past Wednesday. She's playing in the YWCA league that I play in.
So check that out.
Yeah, she actually played in a game. She's going to play this Wednesday just to try to get herself into some 5-on-5 games before it actually gets started.
Darn it, why do they have to play when I'm doing something? I have an interview for my documentary or not an interview, but I have to get some footage that evening. But I'll have to check that out. Because
but it's going to be another 2 Wednesdays from now, so you'll be able to possibly step in and see what's going on with that.
Because Augustus, I think the Lynx realized that Augustus, pretty much she was the reason why the Lynx didn't go on to the playoffs, and I mean that because of her ACL injury.
Yes.
And so I think the Lynx realized, hey, we got to get some other veterans to take the pressure off her. Now you've got Wayland, you've got Maigabad. They're a team that
looks like we got the hey, hey, nah, nah, goodbye cheer going on now.
For the Lynx, they're looking to win now. They're not looking to just contend for the playoffs. They want to win it all, and I think they need it.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy, though, over there in the warehouse district, though, because Target Field's going to be next door to Target Center. The Twins often overlap with the Lynx. So getting out of there is going to be a mess, at least for me.
19 seconds left. It looks like we can definitely say that Johnson will win the Twin Cities championship, but it's good to see that North at least worked hard throughout the game.
I think you could have said that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Another three-pointer for Porter, and you got to give credit to North for getting a few more.
Wow, why are we just now seeing him? That's his third three-pointer.
I know. Well, Johnson will stay undefeated, and the pressure will continue to mount, although for Johnson, they don't make much of a deal out of it.
Yes.
92-67 is the score. North falls to 19 and 7, but North, they've got a shot to go on to state.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back to wrap up with some post-game interviews, so stick around for that.
Yeah.
Mike Peden here with the Minneapolis North player of the game, Ricky Collins. Not quite the outcome you were hoping for, but first time back in 5 years, that has to say something about the Minneapolis North program.
Yeah, we're on our way to state, and our mindset is at state right now. So this is a bad game, you know what I'm saying? We got blown out, but we're still going to work hard trying to get to state.
Now, North, and obviously not as bad as what we saw today, but you're in Class 3A, the same class as Johnson, so if you do make it to state, there's a chance you play Johnson again. So what do you learn from this game that may be helpful later on?
Well, we have to hustle. They just out-hustled us. They went harder the whole game. As a team, we have to hustle, and if we match their intensity, then we'll be good. We can beat them.
What does this mean for North getting that conference title and getting back to the Twin Cities game, especially with everything that's been happening recently? A lot of crazy stuff going on.
Right.
North not necessarily being cast in the light that it should be fairly.
Right. Well, this means a lot for the North Side community for us to get back here, because North is a program that always has high expectations, and we're just trying to meet those expectations and exceed those expectations.
And I'll pull a Drew Carey here, ask you if there's anybody we want to say hi to in the audience, might be watching at home, online, somewhere.
Oh, well, I'll say hi to my mom. My mom and dad was here, actually. That's probably it. Hey, you guys.
Well, they'll have something to look forward to in about a week or so.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking time to speak with us. Congratulations on winning conference, and who knows, we might see you in state.
Yep.
Ricky Collins of Minneapolis North. Mike Peden here with the Johnson player of the game, Max Rosenblum. Max, monstrous first half, 15 points. Quite the second half, but that's really the Johnson philosophy, not really worrying about who scores the most points as long as you get the W.
Yeah, that's the most important thing for us. We just go out and play as a team. Whoever's hot, that's what we keep feeding, and that usually gets us the victory. And so that's the game plan we go with.
This win puts you at 26-0. I know it's not something you like to talk about too much, but what does it mean to finish the regular season undefeated, whereas previous years you may have dropped a game or two? What does that say about the Johnson program?
Well, that just means, we're just prepared, most of all. But, regular season means nothing come section time. So we got to take care of business and
and they start next week, and that's with the playoffs. You know, one loss and you're out. So what did you learn from North, and what are some things that Johnson may need to work on when they go into the playoffs to make sure that Johnson gets that title in their hands?
We just got to just keep up our intensity mainly. We came out in the second half a little flat. You know, they came out and they punched us a couple times before we started swinging back. So that's what we mainly got to do is just keep up our intensity, and hopefully that'll take care of it for us.
Now, you're going to be one of the folks who are heading out after this. Is there anything you want to say to the team as you embark on the next chapter, even though you're not done quite yet?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're not done yet, but...
well,
yeah.
obvious, but we're not covering any more games.
Oh, okay.
So this is my last shot.
My apologies. Well, just want to say, you know, it's their turn next. I mean, I love those guys to death. I've been playing with them for about 4 or 5 years now, so, I mean, I love them to death. They're like my brothers, so... You know, I'll probably say something, you know, a little bit more personal to him later, and we'll just go from there.
Okay, Johnson players, remember that when the season's over. Talk to Max. So, and I'll ask if there's anyone you want to say hi to in the audience might be watching.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. How's it going?
Well, the parents, I'm sure, will be happy to hear that. Thanks for taking time to speak with us. Congratulations on being Twin Cities champions again, and we might see you in state, perhaps all the way. You never know.
Hopefully so. Thank you.
Max Rosenblum, St. Paul Johnson will be coming back to wrap things up. Well, T, quite a game. And Johnson running away with things early, but really it's just an example of the dominance and the depth of the Johnson roster.
I definitely think at the end of the game it came down to what we definitely said throughout the game. Whoever attacks the basket is going to win the game. They attacked from the outside in the second half, but they attacked from the inside in the first half. And I think coming down to the end of the game, the three-pointers is what really sealed the deal for Johnson.
And for North, it was really just a case of not getting their shots to fall and perhaps taking shots a little too quickly, but really give credit to Johnson for just shutting them down inside.
And I definitely think they used all their weapons. I mean, you see a full bench. They didn't lack in energy when the subs came in. I think we saw a lot more energy from the subs on the north side, but at the same time, I think it was a good game overall, even though the score didn't represent that.
Yeah, and as we said, North not as bad as they look today. You just have a bad game once in a while, and then you look really bad, but North, it was not indicative of their performance as a team this season.
But you'd rather have that now before going into regions because of the fact that, like you said, it's one game and you're done. Johnson obviously wants this momentum going into the regions, but North wants to use this to get that momentum back when they get into regions.
And the most surprising thing about this is that you and I held on for 36 minutes today. So
Exactly. We're always good together, of course.
I got to get you in more often with these games. Perhaps we'll get you in next season. I'm sure we'll be working together for the Lynx when I go off to cover them.
Yep.
Are you going to be doing anything with KMOJ for the Lynx?
I think we're going to be still working with a lot. We're going to cover it on air. You know, Big Sam, he covers it on air when he does the local work. But we're always involved, and you know, I'm a WNBA at heart, so.
And I've got through those first-year jitters, so I'm definitely ready to go back in there, Target Center, and cover the Lynx again.
Really a lot more laid back than you expect.
I know, I'm surprised my shell's melted in the last year, but this was a great season, and thanks for coming on with us to end it.
Yes.
Kind of a shame it's our last game.
And I'm excited. I think I'll definitely be back next year.
Well, we will be too. That concludes the regular season. We'll be bringing you some state tournament coverage later on, but for everyone here, thanks for joining us for the 2009-2010 season of high school basketball. See you later.